for news on Luntha Television with me, Charita Chilanga. Let's have a look at the top stories. Pope Leo XIV blesses cornerstone of New Gemeri Heart Center and calls for human-centered care. Ministry of Health and stakeholders stress full participation in polio vaccination campaign to ensure national resilience and child health. The Road Safety Advocacy Foundation steps up road safety training to cut crashes by 50% by 2030. And in other news, Mali Prime Minister urges calm after Cairo force and coordinated attacks. We do have the details to these and many other stories. Stay tuned. Pope Leo XIV has blessed the cornerstone of the new Pope Francis Heart Center at Lom's Agostino Gemelli Polyclinic, expressing hope that its mission will remain rooted in both medical excellence and Christian formation. During a meeting at the Vatican with representatives of the Gemelli Hospital, the Holy Father reflected on the significance of the new cardiovascular center, encouraging staff and administrators to ensure that its growth remains grounded in care for the whole human person. We have a Vatican News report read by Patrick Popper.
Pope Leo XIV noted that the name Cuore, meaning heart in Italian, also reflects the deeper spiritual identity of the institutions, which is linked to the Catholic University of the Sacred Heart. He recalled the vision of Blessed Amida Bareri, who insisted on naming the university after the Sacred Heart, a decision he described as a prophetic. The Pope also drew inspiration from Pope Francis, highlighting its teaching that the heart represents the center of the human person, created above all to love and be loved. He encouraged the hospital community to preserve its identity as it expands, stressing that growth must be accompanied by deeper human and Christian formation among those who serve in healthcare. Pope Leo XIV also praised the legacy of Father Agostino Gemelli and Blessed Amida Bareri, whose vision united scientific excellence with charity and faith. The new Pope Francis Heart Center, named in honor of Pope Francis, will serve as a hub for the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of cardiovascular disease, offering integrated and person-centered care supported by advanced medical technology. In conclusion, the Pope expressed his hope that the new center will stand as a place where professional competence and compassionate care meet, fostering healing that respects the dignity of every human person.
Counselor for the Montfort Fathers in Africa, who is also Luntha TV Director, Father David Nwagaba, says the congregation's growing use of media in evangelization is inspired by their founders' call to respond to the needs of the times as they continue marking over a century of missionary work in Malawi. Father Nwagaba was speaking as the Montfort missionaries celebrate the life of their founder, St. Louis de Montfort, and mark 125 years of mission in Malawi. More details in this report followed by Gift Kalonga.
Father Nwagaba says the Montfort mission is guided by its founder's call to read the signs of the times, with media such as Luntha TV and Montfort Media playing a key role in spreading the gospel to wider audiences. He adds that over 125 years in Malawi, the mission has established key institutions such as schools, hospitals, and media houses that support both evangelization and social development.
We pick three things that I share with you. One, he said, if you don't take risks for God, you won't do anything worthwhile for him. Two, that the shortest way to reach Jesus is the way of Mary. And three, that we ought to live for God and God alone. Why did he say, if you don't take risks for God, you won't do anything worthwhile? Because he himself faced persecution, being chased from diocese to diocese, being persecuted and called a mad priest, but he never gave up, and that's why the gospel reached us. He inspired many popes, including Pope John Paul II, who picked his motto from St. Louis of Montfort, and he said, "Totus tuus, I am wholly yours, O Jesus, through the hands of Mother Mary."
The Chancellor has also called on Montfort missionaries and their communities to emulate the life and example of St. Louis de Montfort in their daily life. St. Louis de Montfort was born on 31 January 1673 in France and died on 28 April 1716 at the age of 43. He was a Catholic priest known for his strong devotion to Mary and his mission of evangelization. He founded the Montfort Missionaries, Company of Mary, and inspired the formation of the Daughters of Wisdom and the Brothers of St. Gabriel, congregations that continue his work in preaching, education, and service to the poor. Meanwhile, the Montfort missionaries in Malawi celebrated the feast day of St. Louis de Montfort at Zomba Cathedral. From Luntha TV in Lilongwe, this is Gift Kalonga.
The Ministry of Health has urged all parents and caregivers to ensure children under 10 years receive the oral polio vaccine. Minister responsible Madalitza Waloi made the remarks on Monday as she officially launched the second round of the national polio vaccination campaign at Kabudula Community Hospital in Lilongwe. Tando Mzumara has more details.
In her remarks, Waloi stressed the urgency of full participation in the campaign, urging community leaders, schools and health workers to support outreach efforts and to report any gaps in coverage immediately so that follow-up can be arranged. She emphasized that polio is very dangerous to the nation, highlighting vaccination as critical to national resilience and child health.
If we want our nation to be resilient, then our population should be properly vaccinated. And we are sending this message out there to all parents or caregivers. Please take this seriously. Make sure you vaccinate your children 10 years and below, and we are doing these vaccinations in schools. We are doing it at health facilities. Even when you are doing your routine checkups, we want to make sure that your children are vaccinated.
Echoing the minister's sentiments, World Health Organization WHO Country Representative Dr. Charles Kuria Njuguna stressed that vaccination is crucial, noting that wild poliovirus is largely contained in Africa. Vaccine-derived strains remain a concern, and that the campaign is essential to stop transmission and achieve global eradication like smallpox.
Polio provides a serious risk. You may be aware that polio is one of the diseases that WHO has targeted for eradication. And when we talk about eradication, we mean a complete wipe up of a disease from the face of the earth. So far we have managed for smallpox, and therefore polio is the next disease we are targeting.
UNICEF country representative Penelope Campo has pledged support to vaccinate 6.2 million children under the age of 10 and is working with community and faith leaders, schools and health workers, and to encourage uptake by assuring caregivers that vaccines are safe and free.
UNICEF is also around mobilizing communities. We work with religious leaders, community health workers, volunteers, schools, councils, local authorities, to make sure that everybody knows that it's safe to bring your child to these services. They're free for all, there's no financial barrier whatsoever. And what we want to make sure is ensure that every child is vaccinated.
Meanwhile, traditional authority Kabudula has committed to ensure that his subjects are participating in the exercise. The second round of the polio vaccination campaign is running from the 27th to the 30th of April 2026. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Tandiwe Mzumara.
The Road Safety Advocacy Foundation, ROSAF, says it is intensifying training programs for all road users, including Kabaza motorcycle riders, as part of efforts to reduce road crashes by 50% in line with the United Nations target by 2030. ROSAF Operations Director Reverend Noel Mhango told Luntha Television on Tuesday that the organization is working closely with government to promote understanding of road safety laws and improve compliance among road users across the country. Judith Ogan reports.
Mhango said ROSAF has a dedicated training department that equips motorcycle riders with knowledge of the highway code, road safety behavior and practical skills needed to obtain driver's licenses through the Department of Road Traffic and Safety Services, the RTSS. He added that the organization also promotes safe riding practices, such as wearing reflective jackets and encouraging responsible behavior on the road, stressing that education remains key to reducing accidents.
Whereby the Kabaza riders, they think government is against them, while government is trying to help them. So ROSAF is there to explain to these people to understand this basic knowledge. It's for their own good. And what ROSAF does is go in the community, tailor-made programs, educate these people. They understand what the law says about the laws, whereby they say knowledge is power. If they know and understand these things, we will have less problem. That's where ROSAF comes in as a helping hand to government.
Mohango further noted that ROSAF acts as a bridge between government and road users, saying many Kabaza riders often misunderstand government regulations, which creates tension that the organization seeks to address through community-based awareness programs. ROSAF says strengthening education and management with all road users remains central to improving compliance with road safety laws and ultimately reducing the number of road crashes in the country. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Judith Ogan.
The Competition and Fair Trading Commission CFTC says it has intensified early enforcement measures aimed at protecting farmers from exploitative prices on farm produce by traders. CFTC spokesperson Innocent Telema told Luntha Television that the measures include market surveillance and some enforcement activities. Constance Kamtemeni has more in this report.
According to Helema, the Commission has adopted a proactive approach to prevent vendors from taking advantage of farmers at the start of the marketing season. He further said the abuse of buyer power, where traders purchase produce at unfairly low prices, is prohibited under the law, hence the move to tame the vice.
Collaborate with relevant stakeholders. This includes the Ministry of Agriculture, ADMAC, the Malawi Police Service, and of course the Malawi Bureau of Standards, where we believe they're important in our work, such as investigations or merely raising awareness. The most significant lesson from previous seasons is that delayed interventions allow vendors to mop up cheap produce before enforcement begins. Of course, this year we are utilizing the 2024 amended CFTA, which of course entered into force in 2024. This allows more effective interventions and significantly higher financial penalties.
On his part, agriculture expert Dr. Kingdom Kwabata said the continued underpricing of farm produce is largely driven by increased supply and economic pressure, forcing farmers to sell at lower prices.
at the market, regardless of the fact that the government has put a minimum farm gate price. So this is a situation whereby farmers are desperate. As you saw in the past, when the economy was good, farmers had the money, they would withhold their produce up to until a certain time or a period where they are confident that maybe prices are better. But coming this time around, because of the desperation, the lack of income, and the fact that there's a lot of pressure on the farmers, to generate income for their households. So there's an increase of commodity on the market, which farmers are offloading. That is what is triggering this reduced price of commodities on the market.
Government earlier this month released farm gate prices for this year's agriculture season towards influencing farmer production decisions across the country. The announcement came amidst widespread reported cases of exploited prices, which traders were offering to farmers on the local market. For Luntha News, this is Constance Kamtemin.
You're watching news on Luntha Television. We'll be back after this short break.
Announcement: transition to cashless ticketing. Malawi Airlines would like to inform all valued customers that effective 1st May, all ticket purchases will be conducted exclusively through cashless transactions. As part of this transition, payment will be accepted via bank transfers and POS machines for various banks available at our offices. This measure is designed to streamline our processes, reduce transaction times, and ensure a safer, more secure way of completing bookings. Cashless ticketing will complement our existing online booking platforms, our website, and our mobile application while aligning with global aviation practices that embrace digital payment solutions. We encourage all customers to prepare for this change by making use of the available electronic payment facilities. Our sales and airport staff will be available to guide and assist customers during this transition. For further assistance, please contact our customer service team via customerrelations@malawianairlines.com or call our support line. We remain committed to serving you with dignity, efficiency, and care as we embrace this new chapter. This announcement is brought to you by Malawi Airlines Management.
Malawi Airlines, from the warm heart of Africa.
Kampani ya maulendo a ndege ya Malawi Airlines ikudziwitsa makasitomala awo onse kuti kuyambira pa 1 May 2026 kugula matikiti kuzichitika pogwiritsa ntchito njira za digital. Monga gawo la kusintha kumeneku, kulipira kudzalandiridwa kudzera potumiza ndalama ku banki, bank transfer, makina a POS, mabanki osiyanasiyana omwe alipo ku maofesi athu. Njirazi zomwe zakhazikitsidwa pofuna kuthandiza makasitomala mwachangu komanso pofuna kukhwimitsa chitetezo zizigwirizana ndi njira zina zomwe zilipo kale zogulira matikiti pa intaneti kuphatikizapo tsamba lathu la website komanso pa foni, mogwirizana ndi mmene makampani a ndege pa dziko lonse akusinthira kupita ku njira za digital. Tikulimbikitsa makasitomala onse kuti akonzekere kusintha kumeneku kugwiritsa ntchito njira zolipira za pa intaneti zomwe zilipo. Ogwira ntchito athu ku maofesi ogulitsa ndi ku airport adzakhalapo kuti athandize ndi kutsogolera makasitomala pa nthawi yakusinthaku. Mukafuna kumva zambiri, tumizani email pa customerrelations@malawianairlines.com kapena imbani foni pa 0992 991 097.
Malawi Airlines, from the warm heart of Africa.
If you've just joined us, I know that you're watching news on Luntha television. Now a reminder of the top stories. Pope Leo XIV blesses cornerstone of New Gemery Heart Center and calls for human-centered care. Ministry of Health and stakeholders stress full participation in polio vaccination campaign to ensure national resilience and child health. The Road Safety Advocacy Foundation steps up road safety training to cut crashes by 50% by 2030. And in other news, Mali Prime Minister urges calm after Kidal force and coordinated attacks. Moving on with the news, the Minister of Labour, Skills and Innovation, George Gona, has underscored the key role of skills development in driving Malawi's long-term growth, saying a capable and self-reliant workforce is essential to achieving the Malawi 2063 vision. Chigona made the remarks during a visit to the Teveta offices on Monday, where he toured the institution and commended its efforts in strengthening technical and vocational training across the country. Alson Banda with the details.
The minister has emphasized that such trainings must be accessible, equitable, and inclusive, with financing models deliberately designed to reach vulnerable groups. He further stressed that the urgent need to equip Malawian youth with practical, industry-relevant skills, describing this as essential to achieving an inclusive, worthy and self-reliant nation in line with the Malawi 2063 vision. Chigona further said the skills development is key to national development, cautioning that without a workforce grounded in practical expertise, the country's industrialization agenda will remain unattainable.
We are very, very committed. As you are aware, it's under the DPP manifesto. His Excellency Professor Atabita Mutharika is increasingly telling us to increase the number of people attending the technical colleges, because they know if we don't have skilled people, we can develop the country.
Meanwhile, Teveta Executive Director Erwin Chiwembu Sichiola highlighted a notable increase in the number of female students enrolling in technical fields. He described this as a significant step towards breaking gender barriers and fostering a more inclusive and diverse workforce.
We are now selecting 6,500, going towards 7,000 now. Much as we are saying, yes, we have made some significant progress, but if you still look at how many young people out there would we like to take into skills development, you will notice that the figure that we are leaving out is still big.
The minister's visit underscored the critical role of skills development in shaping Malawi's economic future, with both government and Teveta officials agreeing that strengthening technical and vocational systems is key to build a productive, inclusive, and resilient workforce capable of driving the country's industrialization agenda.
The Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiatives said it has asked the Malawi Mining and Minerals Regulatory Authority (MMRA) to upgrade the Kankankunda rare earth mining license to large-scale status or have it revoked. In a statement addressed to MMRA Director General Mphatso Chikoti, seated Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa argues that granting a medium-scale license for the Kankankunda deposit in Balaga, one of the world's largest rare earth reserves, undermines Malawi's national interest. Emmanuel Jocha reports.
Speaking in an interview, Namiwa observed that Malawians continue to face foreign exchange challenges despite its vast mineral resources. He said the organization has given authorities a 21-day ultimatum to review the license condition and is calling on the government to secure at least a 50% stake in the project. He warned that failure to act should lead to the investor surrendering the license.
Given the current prevailing economic situation, we are in this quagmire simply because we have nothing to export. Therefore, we cannot allow some people to come in and make a killing, export and take away our mineral wealth when we get nothing. So we have given them 21 days. They should revise the license, or else the company should pack up and go. Malawians have learned the hard way that we are suffering in the land of plenty because of decisions that are made, because of unpatriotic decisions that are made by selfish individuals.
The organization has since urged the authorities to take decisive action, stressing that the current arrangement does not sufficiently benefit Malawians and that national interest must take priority in managing strategic mineral resources. SEEDED is referencing an MMRA communication dated March 30, 2026, which confirms that the Australian-based Rindian Resource Limited was awarded the license. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Georgia.
Citizens for Justice and Equity has urged the government to disclose how much revenue it earns from the mining sector. The organization's executive director, Agape Kombe, said Malawians have the right to know the amount of foreign exchange generated through mining. He made the remarks during a press briefing in Lilongwe. Fales Chizombe has compiled this report.
Kombe said the time has come for the mining map to be made publicly accessible so that citizens can understand the type of minerals found in their areas. He described it as unreasonable that individuals are arrested for discovering minerals within their own communities and subsequently charged with illegal mining.
Yes, we need transparency, and transparency in mining does not just is not limited to only how much we have exported. At least the feasibility study that was done to map where our minerals are it should be made public. At least everybody should know in Nchinji there is this place, there are these minerals. Kudowa, these minerals have got these minerals. Everybody should have a roadmap of where the resources are. And everybody should be responsible, should feel inclined at least to take part in make sure he gets employed or gets involved in the mining industry.
The Geological Mapping and Mineral Assessment Project, GEMAP, supported by the French government, was established to develop a comprehensive and up-to-date map of Malawi's mineral resources and geology. Launched in 2016 by the Ministry of Natural Resources, Energy and Mining, the project produces detailed maps at a 1 to 100,000 scale aimed at identifying mineral potential, including industrial minerals and metals for potential investors. Reporting for Luntha News, this is Fales Chizombe.
Malawi Research and Education Network MARIN says it is planning to extend its digital services beyond the research and education institutions to include other sectors. MARIN Chief Executive Officer Solomon Dindi made the remarks on the sidelines of a media engagement held in Zomba. More details in this report followed by Andrew Nandolo.
In his remarks, Dindi said the move follows the successful connection of multiple institutions under the Digital Malawi project. He indicated that MARIN has already connected 83 research and education sites benefiting over 83,000 students through improved access to secure digital services, adding that the next phase will focus on improving non-research and educational institutions and that MARIN platform remains secure and reliable for all users.
I think when it comes to the costs, most of the costs get absorbed as an organization we charge at cost recovery just to make sure that we're able to sustain the services. But let me point out that some services are for free. For example, services like educational roaming, Age Roam for short. These ones, as long as they are there, you're able to access them for free, and they are available across the globe. Security in the first place is not absolute, but we have tried our best to make sure that they are secure. That's why we have a team of engineers dealing with cybersecurity, because they closely monitor what is happening. And if we sense anything, we're able to take action at the right time.
Marine Finance and Administration Manager Grace Zole said there is significant room for expansion, noting that broadening access will allow more institutions to benefit from the network's services.
The room for expansion is quite big, because currently we've only connected about maybe 45 institutions, but there are plenty of institutions out there. And for the benefits that Marine offers beyond just the connectivity, our goal is to reach out to more institutions, have them connected to the education network, a network that is specialized for them, and it brings them a lot more benefits than just connectivity itself. So our drive is to bring on board a lot more other institutions that are not yet on this education network.
The media engagement attracted practitioners from various institutions including Luntha, Times, MPC, Mibawa, Chanko, Zodiac, UNESCO, among others. Reporting from Zomba, this is Andrew Nandolo.
And in news from across the borders, Mali's Prime Minister Odlai Maiga has urged citizens not to give in to panic after coordinated attacks by jihadist fighters and Taleg separatists led to the fall of the strategic northern town of Kido and the killing of the country's defense minister. The appeal comes amid growing uncertainty over the stability of the military-led government following the weekend offensive. We have an African News report read in our studios by Patrick Popper.
Speaking on national broadcaster or RTM, Maiga warned that the attackers were attempted to seize power by dismantling the institutions of the republic. He said Mali's security forces will not be intimidated and are already drawing lessons from the assault to reinforce national defenses. Jihadist groups and allied Tuaregan separatists seized Kido after 2 days of intense fighting, dealing a major blow to the ruling junta. Local officials say Malian troops and their Russian allies withdrew as fighters linked to the Azawad Liberation Front and the Al-Qaeda affiliated took control of the town. The violence also claimed the life of Defense Minister Sadio Kamara, who was killed in car bomb attack on Saturday. Meanwhile, junta leader Asmin Goita has not appeared in public since the crashes began, fearing concerns about the government's position. The offensive extended beyond the north, with coordinated attacks reported around the capital Bamako and the nearby town of Kati. Residents reported military convoys leaving Kido, while explosions were heard near Bamako's airport on Monday evening, though their cause remains unclear. Despite the unrest, a tense calm has returned to parts of the capital. Schools and offices reopened on Monday, and some checkpoints were lifted, although heavily armed soldiers remain deployed across key locations. Analysts say the developments mark the most serious challenge to Mali's state authority since the 2012 Mali liberation, which required foreign intervention to contain.
With that item, we've also come to the end of our today's bulletin, but let's have a recap of the top stories before we go. Pope Leo XIV blesses cornerstone of New Gemery Heart Center and calls for human-centered care. Ministry of Health and stakeholders stress full participation in polio vaccination campaign to ensure national resilience and child health. The Road Safety Advocacy Foundation steps up road safety training to cut crashes by 50% by 2030. And in other news, Mali Prime Minister urges calm after Kidal force and coordinated attacks. I'm Charity Jilanga. Thanks so much for giving me company and continue enjoying the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Goodbye.